everybody. Welcome to my channel, Becoming Your Own VIP, Mind, Body, and Soul. I'm your host, Rebecca McCants, and let's get to it. I've talked a lot about how I have rebuilt my house on a solid foundation, and I've mentioned prayer as definitely the thing that I go to on a regular. And that is truly the number one thing I suggest you all to do. But neither here nor there, because I understand that some people don't quite frankly believe in that. And I respect that. So I wanted to move on to one of the things that I practiced next was affirmations. So affirmations is affirming positive words that affirm positive, uplifting, and empowering statements that, quite frankly, we don't say to ourselves or hear from others to empower us on a day-to-day basis. So affirmations are like, I am strong, I am loved, I am worthy, I am kind, I am powerful, I am confident. Okay, so with that example of affirmations, let me first give some statements that a lot of people sometimes don't believe that affirmations actually work. And psychologically, your body actually can reject affirmations, because if you say, I am rich, and you really know that you're not rich, and deep in your soul, you know that's a lie, your body will reject that. Okay? As you know that's not true, because that's a firm belief within you that you are not rich. Or when you say, I am loved, and deep inside you feel that no one loves you, then your body can reject that psychologically. So it can actually backfire on you. And I'll go into some different things you can go do instead when that happens. But that's number one when it comes to some of the things that people do say that are negative towards affirmations. And again, is supported psychologically, because the fact deep down you have a belief that that's not the case. Now, for me personally, why did affirmations work? And maybe, yes, I did experience a psychological aspect where it said, no, you're not, but how did it work for me? Well, one, like I said, those words definitely were never said by me on a day-to-day basis, not at all. And, they were not said by my loved ones, especially to the point where even if they did say those things, it may not be frequent. How often are you in a situation when your family is having to say that until something is happening in your life, and then you really need to hear those words, and then they will give you that fuel by saying, you are loved, we love you, you are strong, we know you can get through these. Those words of encouragement, but during those times when we are really down and out. But the thing about affirmations is about reprogramming your mind, and not just your mind, but your subconscious mind on a deeper level. You have your conscious and your subconscious, so that you are actually programming yourself with positive words versus the negative words that we actually say more to ourselves on a day-to-day basis than the loving and empowering words. Especially if, we're questioning what choices we made in a day or an experience we had in a day. Again, we don't question when things are going right. When something is going right, everything is beautiful in the day. We're just going, we're happy. We're not really making conscious thought of it. We're just going with the flow, just happy, and enjoying and feeling blessed. But the minute something negative happens that rubs us wrong, then we question, did I do that? Did I do something to make them act the way they just acted? And second guess what could have been done, or, someone, cuts us off or something like that. And all of a sudden we're in this anger mode. We're really negative and stuff like that. And there's not a programming in there to teach us in a loving way to remain calm and centered, and that we're loved, that we're valued, we're respected, things of that nature. And we are, majority of the time, looking for people to reinforce those things, those positive, uplifting statements in our lives. But that's not what we should be doing. We really need to be uplifting ourselves, because when that same source of outer people that we look to say those positive things that uplift us and make us feel beautiful and loved and all that, well, on their bad day, they're not going to say that. They're going to say something totally opposite and totally negative, not supportive. And then you're going to take that and you're going to ruminate on those, overthink on those, feel wounded on those, and also take them to heart as if they really are who you are. And that's not who you are. So affirmations, for me personally, it was an initiation to self-love, to validate the positive things in my life, of things that I've wanted to say, of things I wanted to hear said to me. Because those hurtful words are what replay over and over again in your mind, and you really believe that's you, and it's not you. They were words that were said when they're angry. They're words that were said when you may not have known better. They're words that were said when you didn't have the tools to equip you with handling a situation a different way, a better way. Because guess what? If you did have the tools, if you did have the knowledge, you would have handled it differently. And quite frankly, the situation would have blown up. And not only that, the same for them. They may not have the tools or know better on how to handle situations, and they may only know how to say hurtful words because they were hurt, and they don't have the tools or the words to really express themselves in a healthy way. And because they are wounded and they're saying their wounds out loud to you, and you're wounded and you're taking it and hearing it, or vice versa, they're two wounded people hurting each other. And both people are taking it very personal. But really, these two people did not have the proper tools, emotional intelligence, or emotional awareness of triggers, of past hurts and wounds, all that to bring it down and to come to a healthy way of communicating and expression of what they're truly feeling triggered by, or looking back and seeing, you know what, it's not you, but I am projecting a past pain on to this situation right now because this is how my ex handled this. And right now, you scared me so much with what you just said that it felt like the consequence of loss or lack from that relationship, it was just about to happen right now. And I wanted to stop you before it happened to protect myself. So I'm saying something really hurtful, or I'm pulling away and rejecting you before you reject me type stuff. Okay? And I'm just saying a relationship right now because, quite frankly, again, it's the relationships that impact us the most. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a partner. It could be a parent. It could be siblings. It could be a friendship. It could be a coworker. These relationships that we have are our greatest teachers. And so with these affirmations, it was building me up. And this is something you had to do consistently every single day, more than once a day. If you, to be quite honestly, I was doing it morning and night. Eventually I did. It was working so well, I stopped. I was like, okay, cool, I don't need it. And then, those negative words will kind of come back up because there were still unhealed aspects of me. So you still needed to keep going. You still needed to continue with that positive affirming of who you are. And because you know what? I know I'm beautiful. I am loved. I am lovely. I am loved. I am respected. I am valued. All these things. And you say it confidently. And you say I am because this is that present moment. It's not I will be better. I am better. I am loved and all these things. You don't want to just put it past tense, and you don't say things that counter what you're wanting to program within yourself. Your entire life. Well, let me say not your entire life. I'm just going to take this personally. My life was built on fear, worries, doubts, insecurities, limits, and lacks. And you go around walking around like you're on eggshells in life and with people, because you don't know what's going to set them off. You don't know what's going to set you off. And you also don't know what to expect, period, with any action or word you say. So there's a lack of confidence. So these affirmations build you up, where before you were torn down. And a lot of times you didn't even understand why you're being torn down. So then those cycles return over and over again in your relationships and within yourself, within your mind every single day. Which is why a lot of people develop toxic habits with food, sex, drugs, alcohol, shopping, whatever your addiction is, because they are trying to quiet down the noise in their mind, and they're listening to music constantly, listening to TV constantly, not realizing that they're actually overindulging and overstimulating your mind, oversensory. And so your mind is it's chattering away, and it's never had a chance to just be quiet and be still. So affirmations was one of the new boards I picked up. I dropped the toxic boards and I picked up and built affirmations in as one of my boards into my new foundation when I was building myself back up. Now, when I recognized affirmations, I fell off of them and I tried to get back on them. I recognized there was a certain resistance. So then I recognized what they were talking about psychologically on how your body can resist those things. And again, you're still needing to work through your wounds. So the next thing I found out was what's called Affirmations. And there's not a lot of information out there, to be truthfully honest, about affirmations. There is a little bit of articles here or there, but affirmations is asking a powerful question to your mind for your mind to work for you. Okay? So that it's finding those answers of why you are loved, why you're able to achieve all your goals. Why am I so wealthy right now? Why is abundance flowing to me so easily? These are these questions. And, I recognized that I finally started asking empowering questions when I was ready. So when I was at my lowest of lows and I'm sitting here praying, looking for change, instead of asking, why me, or woe is me type questions, the world, the universe will present you with that answer. So it'll just keep on replaying those cycles to show you, well, this is why, and you need to change this. But if you then say more empowering questions, why am I so loved? So now I shifted from the victim mentality and them, the world showing me all the answers to why the victim mentality is continuing to play out. Now I'm asking, why am I so loved? And the world's going to show you why you are so loved. It's a form of manifestation, how your thoughts can bring to light what you constantly think about. And not realizing that's why I was creating the relationships and the patterns and the beliefs and behaviors I was doing, because from childhood, that's the only thing I knew. And that's the only thing that replayed through my mind. And with those fears, how can I protect myself? And, to do that, that means I pushed away a lot of people the minute I was vulnerable, so that they didn't see me, or pushed away and ran from a lot of relationships the minute it got heavy, because that was my way of protecting myself. These are the things that I'm asking for you to look at yourself and your patterns of life, your patterns of behaviors and thoughts and beliefs that were created, and how does it impact you in a positive and negative way. So when I was rebuilding my boards and I found affirmations and Afformations, it honestly was a blessing. So this is one of the tools that I am introducing to you today, because I know I told you a lot of stories of things, but now I'm actually going to provide tools. So with those affirmations and affirmations and Afformations, again, also with prayer, there's also a thing, I'm going to bring prayer back into this, because with prayer, even how you say your prayers, you can be a victim or you can be empowered through your prayers. And I'm quite honest with God, because he already knows what's going on, but I don't come at God with a woe is me aspect any longer. What I do is, one, thank him for the blessings of these things that I'm asking for. Thanking him to be a better person, thanking him to watch over myself and my family and my loved ones, and those who've been a part of my journey, who's helped me along this way, because without them in my life, I would have not gotten to the point where I could finally do better, be better, and be on this podcast teaching you. So there's also a forgiveness that you go through your prayers, because I was having a conversation with a gentleman the other day, how he wasn't ready to forgive someone. And it's not about forgiving a person. It's about forgiving within yourself, so that you can move forward. And by forgiving them within you, letting that stuff go and recognize both of y'all were really hurt. That's number one. And again, both of y'all were wounded, not knowing any better, and not having proper tools. And whatever else has happened, has happened. You can't take that back. But when you look and realize how you personally have made mistakes and you want to be forgiven, why would you not be open to forgiving that person? And I know that may have hurt. I know that may have created a lot of anger. It created a big shift in your life that, was unplanned, and whatever else domino affected from that situation. I know. But forgiveness is still needed in order to move on. And these are boards that you build. So forgiveness, prayer, and affirmations. And I think I'll do a little bit more on prayer and forgiveness a little bit later. So I won't even go to this right now. I want to continue to talk about the affirmations and Afformations. But by asking powerful questions, your mind will present these things to you. It's kind of, people use this as scenario, when you all of a sudden have a new car in your mind that you really want, or you're pregnant and all of a sudden now all you see is mothers. where you didn't see them before. This is what our mind is programmed to do. Our mind is a computer, and it's been filled with a lot of stuff. And we never went in and did any type of virus cleanup because we didn't know. And now it's time for you to activate that cleanup mode. And again, if you're continuing to fill your computer drive up with the nonsense and the toxicity, it's not going to help. The cleanup's not going to help. But if you pause, and again, like I said, my foundation broke, so that was my time for all my foundation was on the ground, to leave the toxic boards on the floor and now add the new ones, new healthy boards. Affirmations and Afformations was what one of those boards were, along with prayer and forgiveness. And there's still things I'm working out on the forgiveness thing because I buried deep some stuff, but either way, it's one of those things that whatever you cannot remember, it can be worked out energetically. It's not about you having to remember this instance, and I will get into that episode as well for you, because a lot of this stuff we actually can do ourselves. We didn't know how to though. And depending on the outer world with therapists and stuff like that, that's good, because the fact it gives us a different perspective and stuff like that. But there is actually a lot that you can do to take power back and work on yourself and improve yourself. And Affirmations and Afformations is one of those things. So I do ask that you please Google and look this up. There is Affirmations, Affirmations, Afformations as well on YouTube. So instead of AFFIR, there's AFFORmations. So please look that up, and it'll give you some scripted ones already. You can pick a few and then put that into your day-to-day routine and say them. And they say 21 days to build a habit. Quite honestly, I say this should be a lifetime thing, or at least a long-term thing. Again, because this is about reprogramming yourself and supporting yourself. And again, when something happens sudden in our lives, you don't want to fall back to the bad habits. You want to know that you're enforced and your foundation is strong within the new healthy habits that you established. And by continuing to maintain that, you know you are okay. So I hope today's episode helps. It's very brief, quick to the point. I do ask that you please, again, Google and as well as go to YouTube, for there are tons of affirmations and affirmations available for you to be able to say, for you to go on every single day and uplift yourself, to love yourself and give yourself some self-love and self-care with these words, and share it with others so that they can know that they can uplift and empower themselves. I would say for Affirmations, Affirmations, Google them. Google seems to have more information on Affirmations than YouTube, but YouTube definitely has a few videos out there. But if you do have any difficulty with finding videos on Affirmations, I then please ask that you just Google. If you have any questions, email me, let me know, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. I am a certified life coach as well as a certified Reiki practitioner. And so, again, I'm blessed to be able to share what I've learned with you, and we'll be glad to answer any questions you have. You guys have a good day. Thank you. Bye. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my podcast, Becoming Your Own VIP, Mind, Body, and Soul. Today I wanted to cover another healing tool, which is meditation that I use on a daily basis. And meditation is a mind and body practice that has a long history through the Eastern culture and is referenced in the Bible. Now, the two between the Eastern culture and the Bible are two different types of meditation. Eastern culture is where you're actually sitting in a pose and actually in silence and meditating. And the Bible, meditation is a reflection upon words, reflection upon your thoughts, reflection upon whatever your inner thoughts are. And meditation to me is the same thing, but eventually you kind of quiet your mind completely and you kind of zone out into just quiet stillness. In the Bible meditation, I would still say it's a stillness as well, but again, it's more reflection upon the words so that, again, those who can see, those that can hear. It's also a visualization type of method between both of them. But meditation is used for increasing calmness and physical relaxation, improving psychological balance, coping with illness, and enhancing overall health and well-being. Mind-body practices focuses on the interactions among the brain, mind, body, and behavior. Now, when I also mention mind-body practices, I also want to bring up yoga as that practice as well. For me, both of them take you to a place that we normally don't go. Yoga is asking of you to go beyond what your mind thinks your body is capable of doing. And I can tell you right now, if you asked me 5 years ago, would I be doing yoga? The answer would have been no. And I will tell you that truly in union of your mind and body, especially your energy systems, both meditation and yoga meet those areas to bring balance into your life. Now, looking this up in Google, I know I wanted to give you a scientific viewpoint here that basically will help support those who are not on the spiritual path. But when it comes to meditation, through science, it shows that studies actually reflect many positive benefits from meditation for different conditions. And there is evidence that it may reduce blood pressure as well as symptoms of irritable bowel systems, aiding absorption of nutrition, and flare-ups in people who have had any type of ulcerative colitis. It may ease symptoms of anxiety, depression, insomnia, reflexes and it relaxes the nervous system. It releases doubt and quiets your mind, releases your fears, lowers bipolar, PTSD, and ADHD symptoms. Now, for me personally, I can attest to this helping with depression, releasing fears, and calming down any type of anxiety and ADHD and PTSD symptoms. Now, I'm not been diagnosed with ADHD, but I have anxiety. And all of that has to do with racing of your mind, feeling like there's so much that you have to do. And meditation, because our mind is so stimulated through conversations, through our work, through media, we are so overwhelmed mentally with our day-to-day and the things that we consume visually, audibly. We are constantly in a barrage of sensory overload. And that's a lot of the reasons why we're constantly activated. And we also feel like we got to go. And we always feel frazzled or overwhelmed, or we don't have enough time, when really we do have enough time. And we do have these moments of sanity and peace and quiet if we just go still. So meditation, whether it's the biblical aspect or the Eastern methods of just being still, is medicine for your mind in a natural, most calming state that your body actually craves. And I can tell you right now that I saw effects immediately once I started meditation. And eventually, it wasn't immediately, And to be truthfully honest, I didn't document it on the calendar because I had no idea that meditation at the time would benefit me as much as it did. For me, I was looking at meditation for emotional stability. I was in a place where my world was rocked, and I just had no other methods. I really didn't want to get on medication. I was trying to find things holistic, and meditation was that answer. So meditation brings you into a centered mind. It centers your breathing, and breathing is very healing in itself as well. Just by breathing, you can tell if someone is in an anxious state or a calm state, an angered state or a happy state. The deeper you breathe, the slower you breathe, you allow oxygen throughout your entire body as well as your mind. And you're able to bring healing energies in to your body just by breathing. And actually, as a matter of fact, I will mention there is a app that I'll forgot to look up before I got on here, but I think it's called Breathwork. I'm not for sure, but you know what? My next podcast, I'll look at it, or I'll put it on the comments to this podcast and refer you to this Breathwork app. And by no means are they paying me, and no means am I asked to advertise this. This is something I truly use and has benefited me. You have a certain state to breathe before you go to sleep, certain way to breathe when waking up. If you're having anxiety or a panic attack, this app will actually help you show you as well as tell you how long to hold your breath. Breathe in for a certain amount of numbers. Hold your breath for a certain amount of numbers. Exhale your breath for a certain amount of numbers. And it's a very calming voice. Again, it gives you visual and audible instructions, and you learn to train your breathing that way. There's also a breathing whistle, things of that nature that you can buy, but that costs a lot. So we have not been taught to breathe correctly. And if you remember in our elementary school days in music class, how the teacher holds our stomach and says, breathe through your diaphragm. Well, that holds truth. We are not breathing properly. And so therefore, we're not allowing our body to receive the air and the healing we need. And then same with our minds. We are so busy. And again, sensory overload. Back in the day, there wasn't a lot of sensory overload, but there was still talk. There was still gossip. There were still rumors. And you still needed to find time to get away. Jesus went up on the mountaintop to get away from everyone so that he could have his moment of quiet reflection. You get away from other people's energies. If you're in a room with a whole bunch of angry people or anxious-based people, you're picking up that energy, and you're anxious just by being there. Like, oh my gosh, can you breathe? Is what you want to say to people at times. And people actually do say that to people. Just calm down. There's a reason for that. You're getting me worked up, and I'm not even feeling the way you're feeling, but just by your behavior, the way you're acting, your energy, I'm picking up on, and you need to calm down just a little bit. So we, again, are energetic beings, and to be able to get away from other people, as well as the sensory things that we utilize on a day-to-day basis, it overwhelms our mind. And then with our own history, that all of those things are what is running through our mind on constant repeat, and it won't ever quiet. It just doesn't quiet. Again, a lot of people find ways to drown out that noise through numbing themselves out on Netflix, binge watching TV, eating, drinking, drugs, shopping, sex. A lot of it is we drown it out in some way, shape, or form in an unhealthy way versus the healthy way, which is to allow it to leave. Allow your mind to get this stuff out. And another way you can allow it to get out is by writing out your thoughts. So I've never been one to journal. I'm just going to give you guys a couple of side notes because I'm not going to make a podcast about some of these things, and I'll get back to meditation. But it's important to get what's on your mind out. And like I said, I've never been one to journal, and I still don't journal as much. But when your mind, if you keep it in your mind, and while you're trying to find solution, it plays on repeat over and over and over again until you find a solution. But who's to say that's the best solution? So, what I've been studying lately is, one, write it down. Write down whatever your thoughts are. Just let it all pour out, right? Now, with whatever it is, if it's an opportunity to take, a conversation you have to have with someone, whatever it is that you are currently trying to find a solution for, you want to write down everything you're thinking about right now. What do you think your solutions is? And then the next question is, okay, now what if I'm wrong? With everything I just wrote down, through my own perspective, through my own life experiences, what if I'm wrong? So now it asks you to open your mind even broader, see a higher perspective, and give yourself a different answer. It's kind of like a pros and cons list, but instead of a pro and con, it's asking, okay, now this is what you're thinking, which normally we think in alignment of we're right, they're wrong. Well, now by you saying, well, what if you're wrong? Now you put down the other perspective. Okay. And this allows you to not be so tight in your box, open your mind and see what other solutions you could come up with. So that's just one thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to journaling and clearing your mind. It helps lessen fears or anxieties you're having about things. And again, breathing. But then the biggest thing for me, again, was meditation. Now, I chose to do the Eastern style of sitting in a pose and, just quieting my mind for however long it took. Now, at the beginning, your mind is going to run. It's going to run. That's why we hid it. That's why we ran from it. We didn't want to hear it because it said a whole bunch of nonsense. We thought it was nonsense. It brought up a lot of fear from things we didn't want to face, past regrets, past hurts, past pains, fears that may not even make sense to us. And it just a whole bunch of stuff rattling off. What do I need to wear tomorrow? Or, what do I need to cook? Or your to-do list of anything that you have to do other than sitting still. Because your mind doesn't want to sit still. You've never quieted it before. So your mind's like, what are you doing? And it's taking this opportunity to tell you everything you need to do. So let it be. Let it run its course. Continue to deep breathe. And YouTube has a lot of wonderful beginners YouTube videos for meditation to help you breathe. And even breathwork videos. So even if you don't want to download the app, YouTube has free breathwork videos. There's box breathing. There's all sorts of types of breathing methods. And there's all sorts of meditations as well. If you're beginning, just start with the most basic. Even I don't go into all of the meditation styles there are at this time. All I do is sit, breathe, let the thoughts exit my mind, and eventually I zone out and I'm in a peaceful, quiet state. The more you empty your mind, the more your body heals. A lot of our mental illnesses is based off of the constant chatter and not being able to hear what our pains and our hurts and regrets that come up surfacing because we repressed it for so long. It's asking to be heard. So by being still, you can listen to it. You can follow a trend and like, oh, okay, I do need to deal with this. And then there's going to be a whole nother video. I'll talk to you about how you deal with that. But this allows you to hear what your heart, your body, your soul has been trying to tell you for a long time, because your chakras hold that trauma. Your body holds that trauma. Your mind holds that trauma. You are a storage unit that tells a history of everything you've been through. And exercising gets that out, which is why yoga is a beautiful mind and body practice with your meditation, because it's getting all those little areas, your energy systems, your actual physical muscles active to release all of this stuff, as well as your mind. And not only that, it's again showing you what you're capable of. And meditation shows you you're capable of stillness. So when someone's all up in your face, eventually, when someone's in your face and they're toxic and they're angry for no reason, or they're agitated for whatever reason, or they're angry, you have a stillness in you that you didn't even know that you were capable of, because this is what that meditation brought. Eventually, I was off of my anxiety pills. Eventually, I wasn't as triggered with anxiety. There are times when anxiety may come up for me because you haven't yet fully attuned your body yet to release all the fears that you have. You haven't changed some of those behaviors that trigger the fears, that trigger the anxiety. And that takes mastery. That takes time. It took time for that anxiety to even get there. It took time for you to build the behaviors to deal with that anxiety, to deal with those fears, and again, also the negativity. So, but eventually you see all this lesson. And I want to say it could be anywhere from 1 month to 6 months that you'll see a difference within your body, within your mannerisms, and your state of mind. Now, meditation can open you up to a lot of things. I didn't read much on meditation, but you can see colors, you can see images in your meditations at time, and which is very interesting. I'm going to ask that you please understand that this is not to scare you, but this is something I didn't research prior to that, and since no one really shared that with me, I'm going to make sure I share that with you. This is something that you are to remain calm in. It's almost just like your thoughts, but your thoughts are being put to images in your mind, because your mind has images. So that's why you think, you have images pop up in your mind. Well, that's your body with whatever images, whatever it has to say to you, throwing up both thoughts, these, comments in your mind, that appear in your own voice. But then also there are images that could pop up. And so it's no different in meditation. So if you have questions on that, feel free to let me know. But it's nothing to be concerned about. It's just your mind, everything talking to you. And again, meditation is also a connection to your spirit. So you have dreams that has images. Your meditation will have images. And even in the state of reflection, you just need to understand that there's only going to be so many ways that your soul can speak to you. And that is through images and through your mind, through your comments within your own voice. And you can know what is positive and what's negative and sort through that. So that's the one thing I'm going to ask, is that you understand that these things can happen. And again, for me, I did not understand. And again, I'm going to be that person that tells you because I wish I would have known. And there's books on this. There's all sorts of things that you can read up on and understand. But, if you don't want to if you're not ready to deal with that, trust me, believe it's not going to happen immediately. It didn't happen to me either immediately. It happened as I became better at clearing my mind and listening to my body talk to me to tell me what it needs. So that's just something I want to make sure you understand. Now, there are other ways you can meditate. So like I said, you could just sit in a quiet room, nothing on, no music, no TV, no family, just you. You could be outside or in your room or in the living room, wherever it's just quiet, just you and quiet. And you can just deeply meditate on what's currently going on. You can send a prayer. Once you send a prayer, to meditate is to receive the answer. So prayer is asking, meditation is receiving. You can meditate by walking, dancing, reading, drawing, exercising, gardening, prayer. These are the things that help you quiet your mind, focus your mind, and journaling. It just anything that allows you to focus on a task. Your brain can only think on one thing at a time. So say, for instance, something fearful came up in your mind. Hurry up and flip it to something positive. Now that is a challenge in itself, and I can attest to that. But that is what you need to do, is distract your mind and bring it to something positive so that you can get off that negative fear-based thought that you're having. Because again, it can only focus on one thing at a time. Meditation helps train your mind to healthy behavior patterns. And again, once your mind is still, you're still. Once you're still, whatever happens to you, even if it happens suddenly, eventually, not immediately, your mind is such at peace that you won't react versus calmly respond to a situation that happens that in the past would have pushed your button and triggered you into saying or doing something that you would later regret. What I found is whenever you're connecting mind, body, and soul, the more patience that you display, and again, that's through practice of stillness. Once you take away all that busyness of technology and bring more nature, silence, reflection into your life, you bring it into yourself, then you're able to mirror that to your family, to your co-workers, to your community, to your children, to your pets. And you'll find ways that you can communicate in loving, compassionate ways. It takes some time, but your PTSD, all these triggers, the bipolar, whatever it is, when you think about people's symptoms, when they talk about it, they talk about the mind, the illness of the mind of some way, and it all has to do with the busyness. If you've ever really focused on what people have to do, schizophrenia, bipolar, all these things, it's busyness of the mind, a lot of chatter, a lot of things going on. With meditation, with quietness, with doing things that are healthy through painting and dancing, you will find yourself centered. You find yourself be able to still your mind in a way that whatever busyness in the world, it no longer affects you because you're balanced. You're becoming in harmony with yourself. And you'll know if you're out of balance, and you'll know, hey, it's time for me to go have my Zen time and go meditate. I need to go work in my garden. I need to go exercise, whatever that is. But I will also say that physical fitness truly is key, because again, it's mind, body, and soul. You have your meditation for your mind. You have your yoga your meditations for your mind and body, yoga for mind and body, exercising mind and body, because you're able to get all the frustration out. You're able to get the trauma worked out of your muscles. You know, if you actually, after you practice yoga a little bit more, you'll notice that actually a lot of the exercise positions are actually yoga positions too, that have been transitioned. So you really actually have been doing yoga in some form or another, maybe just not to that extent. There's also Qigong that I do. And there's also another practice called Tai Chi. And it all helps center your mind, your body, and your energy. So please look into Qigong, Qigong, or Taichong. So just check that stuff out, okay? Or Tai Chi, I'm sorry, Taichi. I was still thinking of Qigong. But I do Qigong especially. There's actually a lot of healing work that Qigong provides. It's very healing. It's another form of energetic work. Yoga and meditation. Those three right there are something that I do practice. And not all the time can I get it in, depending on what's happening in life, but those are the three practices I do. And again, if you only start off with just 1 minute and work your way up per week, so 1 minute, then 2 minutes next week, then 5 minutes next week, then 10 minutes next week, and just gradually work your way up. It doesn't have to be a lot, but to be truthfully honest, this meditation is what helped transition me off of weed and drinking, because I was no longer dependent on the toxic things. I replaced my boards of toxicity with things that are healthy. Meditation, affirmations, the Qigong. Well, actually, I did Tai Chi before I did Qigong. And then once I found Qigong, I stopped Tai Chi and did Qigong. And Reiki. So I'll get into Reiki a little bit later. Energy healing a little bit later. But we're out of balance because we're not following the complete cycle of what our body needs each and every single day. Good food, mind relaxation, reflection for our spiritual connection, and then our exercising to clear out the energies of the day. That all these things help your mind, your body, and soul. Every single day, you're ingesting all these things, and your meditation, your exercising, and your health and nutrition, your hydration, all of these things feed you throughout the day. And if you're feeding yourself with toxicity daily, then you're just adding to that. Versus if you're taking care of the healthy and bringing the healthy in, you're caring for your body. So you have long life, you have good health, and you have a good mind. You have a good energy, and your energy will reflect in good things versus repelling the good things and attracting the negative. You're actually attracting in those good things. And you're like, oh my gosh, how did I get so blessed today? It's because you're taking care of yourself on all three levels of your soul, your mind, your body, and spirit, So I don't want to keep this long, but I pray that you do understand that this is a holistic aspect of taking care of yourself every single day. Holistic is you looking at treatment of the whole person. Okay? You're taking into account your mental and social factors, not just the symptoms of the illness, because when you're unbalanced, you create a dis-ease because you're not taking care of yourself. Your body is dis-eased. But if you're taking care of yourself, you're at ease. Your body is a natural healing organism. Your cells, your immunity system, all these things repair overnight. But if you're ingesting toxicity every single day, it's never going to have a chance to take care of itself. It's at war, and the toxic cells and all that stuff is winning. And so you're creating a dis-ease. But the minute you start reversing that, eat those healthy foods, drink that water, exercise, clear your mind, and connect your mind, body, and soul, your body is at ease. You're connected, you're whole, you're one, and your body can now repair itself through sleep, through rest, through calm, through stillness. All right, everybody, you have a blessed night, and thank you for tuning in.